What's happening, everybody? It's Troy here. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. We are finally out of this flood warning and I have some sunshine, so I'm taking advantage of it. We are going to be doing 2 repots in this video today. So if this sounds like your cup of tea, please carry on with me. But before we get into that, if I could encourage you all to, of course, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, that'd be fantastic. So today, guys, I have 2 Oncidium type orchids, both in Leca and self-watering, that we are going to be upgrading into an 8-inch pot and a 6-inch pot. I know that you all have wanted more repot videos. Now I have some time to get them done and sunshine, so I'm taking advantage of this, and I figured you all might enjoy. I figured it'd be a little bit easier for you all to enjoy if you could see me better. So we are going to start with this Charles M. Finch Izumi. This is an Oncidium type. So I got into growing Leca about 2 years ago, 3 years ago for lava rock. So I'm still learning about Leca. I feel a little bit more comfortable in lava rock than Leca, but nonetheless, I think it is wonderful for my Oncidium types, Miltoniopsis, and I even cultivate Zygopetalums in them. All Leca is lightweight expanded clay aggregate, which means that man makes this from clay. It is very water retentive, and this is a great option if you have some water-loving species such as Miltoniopsis or Oncidium types. I find this to be okay in my environment. I've learned how to adjust my watering so that way my orchids are benefiting from the way I water. So I chose to do self-watering, and I let my orchids dry out quite a bit before I re-water them. Not completely all the way, but quite a bit because I have high humidity and I don't want to encourage any rot or anything of that nature. When you first start out with transitioning orchids into Leca and self-watering, you will find that you need to ease into how much water you're leaving in the reservoir and how much water you're actually watering them, because you're going to be transitioning these roots from a lower humidity such as bark. The medium is lower humidity, and now we're going to be going into a higher humidity, so you would adjust your watering for that if you're transitioning your orchid. I always encourage people to wait for new active roots. If you can see there, we have new active roots. This is the best time to repot, especially if you are transitioning into Leca and self-watering for the first time. Now, with self-watering, you will need a wick, okay? I don't do the semi-hydroponics, which is just submerging the base of the leca in your nutrient solution or calmagan seaweed, whatever it is that you have in the reservoir. So I do self-watering. That way I can let my orchids dry out a little bit more, and it tailors to my grow space. Now, normally when repotting, I would put a bottom layer of leca down, about 1 inch worth. But where I'm going to be up potting this orchid, I'm going to be taking it straight from this pot into this pot. So I'm not going to crock the pot or line the pot, whichever you choose to call it. I'm not going to do that because I want it to be able to fit down, and that way I can pull my orchid up into place. But I like to start a little bit lower and work my way up. I also am not anticipating having to cut so many older roots because I just put this orchid into the pot last year. So a lot of those roots should still be good. I got this as a division from a former coworker. I apologize, guys. The microphone is going to pick that up. I will try to do it carefully. And she had already had this orchid in a semi-hydro setup. So yeah, look at these roots. Trying to preserve my leca. These roots that I was able to grow in leca and self-watering. I'd really like to get this old microfiber cloth out of there, but I really don't want to disturb my roots too much, so I might actually leave it. Yeah, This is when I first started with Leca and self-watering. I used to bring my wick up too high for my environment. I have a higher humidity, so my wick only needs to be this bottom layer. Can't get over these, well, I can't get over those roots, but it's amazing root system, huh? Yeah, that's so much better. And we'll tuck these aerial roots in. Hopefully they survive. They're not used to the high humidity. They might not. All right. Don't worry about your older roots. They will flush through. The inert media is not going to be broken down. You can also recycle this. So let's say this orchid didn't make it or whatever, and I wanted to reuse this leca. I totally could. I could just reboil it, just sterilize it, and reuse it in my next repot. It's another reason why I started using leca. You can reuse it. Oh, that's so much better. All right. I hate to be pedantic about it, but when you're in an inert media, you can go a little bit longer without having to do a repot. So if I can get that nice and situated in the pot, I might have 2 or 3 years as opposed to next year. And I'm just going to use all of this leca that was already in there. Again, I apologize for the noise. Not much I can do about it. Luckily, it's a calm day in the backyard. Sometimes I have neighbors out here. It's a shared space. The microphone picks up things such as leca tinging off the table. I have these back bulbs nice and tight up against the back of the pot. Just backfilling with more leca. This orchid grows in an intermediate grow space. Decent humidity all year long. Is actually the room that has the lowest amount of humidity out of my 3 grow spaces. But these Oncidium orchids that are in leca and self-watering, they do fine. I have cattleyas in that room. That doesn't bother them. The phalaenopsis are fine. Of course, when these guys are in active root growth, I just increase what's in my reservoir. And in the wintertime, when they don't need as much, I decrease what's in my reservoir. Or I don't put anything in the reservoir either, and I just flush through the pot. Now, some people have a problem with dry top layer because they grow in a space that's less humid as me. For that, I would say pull your microfiber cloth up higher to help get the humidity up closer to the top layer. I don't have that problem. These roots, if they don't make it into the pot, they'll just grow aerial. When I flush my water through, if there's any air pockets or whatever, the leca will fall right into that. But I just wanted a nice upgrade. I have 1, 2, 3 new growths on this orchid, and I just wanted them to have space so I can grow them to their full potential. This will be my 2nd season with Charles M. Finch Izumi in the collection. So I'm getting to know this orchid a little bit better. This is definitely a moisture lover. But yeah, I will take this orchid back inside and flush through with plain RO water where I've already soaked this orchid in CalMag and seaweed. I will just resume next week with my Jack's 2-part feed, and I'll reduce it down from 200 well, somewhere between 225 to 250 parts per million. I'll reduce that down to 100, 125 parts per million. Of course, when I go back inside, I have a Sharpie and I will put the month and the year of when I repotted on the back of my tag so I know when her last repot was. Went up to an 8-inch pot. I have gone ahead and lined it with my microfiber cloth. I'll do the same thing with this one. If the microfiber cloth doesn't want to come out, I'm not going to force it. I have new roots coming, as you can see, but I really wish I would have repotted this a week or 2 ago. I just haven't had the time. As you can see, her leaf, she's not getting enough hydration. These roots here really need to be down in the leca. I got this orchid about 4 years ago into my collection, and she was a moisture lover. She came in sphagnum moss and did really well in sphagnum moss. I'm going to get rid of this leaf that is inhibiting the growth. If you see, it's inhibiting the growth of my root. So I'm just going to get rid of it because it's going to go down in the pot anyway. So it's not going to make it. All right. With Leca, you can see you can bury those pseudobulbs. This is a creeper, the way she grows. So I can bury those pseudobulbs because they can breathe in this inert media. So I have this older pseudobulb that's used all of its energy. I'm just going to twist and pull that off. That is doing fine. So the older roots right here with this back pseudobulb, that seems to be where my dead roots are, which makes sense. That was the lead pseudobulb 4 years ago. So this is an OG in my collection. I don't want to go too crazy. I can always flush them out later. The older roots, when they die off, they'll break down and flush out of the media. So now my pot is lined with about an inch of leca at the base. This orchid grows upright more than outright. See, these new roots haven't grown in, so I'm gonna have to slowly bring up the humidity to acclimate them. But there are other older roots that are already acclimated. I would like this orchid lower in the pot. I am going to use this leca. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. And once you get your orchid where you want it situated, we can just let go. I don't have it there yet, so I won't let go yet. Hoping now that we can get this orchid hydrated correctly again, that her leaves will start looking better. Right. Now, my orchid seems to be, I don't know if you can see it, seems to be back a little bit. I'll apply pressure and just tap, repositioning the orchid to where I want it. And on the back of my garden tag, I will, of course, update my month and my year of when I repotted this orchid. Oh, I timed that just perfect. I hear a weed eater. So, with that said, guys, I thank you all for joining me on this repot. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions about leca and self-watering, please comment down below. If you are growing in leca and self-watering and you want to share how your experience and your journey has gone, please comment down below and let us know what you think of using this medium. If you've not worked with it, I hope that you all give it a try. Maybe just try one orchid and see how it works in your environment. I think that it's a fun medium to grow in, and I like the way it looks. I think that this looks a lot better than green sphagnum moss or the smell of bark breaking down. So there you have it. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Y'all take care.